Hello friends, my name is Laura Dixon. I am a life and weight loss coach, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about I'll be happy when I get to my goal weight. I'll be happy when ... fill in the blank. And so most of you know intellectually probably that the number on the scale isn't what makes you happy. Like, you can be happy right now. Like, think about being with your kids or being with your partner or going on a vacation when we hopefully like can and everything is back open up again. Like, when you think about that, like, you have times of happiness even though you're maybe not at your goal weight, even though you maybe don't feel like you're in the body you're meant to be in. So you know it's possible, but then here's what I see people do so often, and here's what I did myself, is I would say I'll be happier when I get to my goal weight. I'll be happier when I'm just thin. Like, when I'm thin, like, the world will be easy. I will be able to do anything, all of the things. And so there are a lot of people that will say, well, that is, that's not true at all. When you become thin, that isn't what makes you happy. Nothing's going to change. And now, I agree with that for the most part. And so here's why I do agree with that. The number on the scale doesn't make you happy. Because if it did, then I would be happy all of the time. Because I'm the same number on the scale, right? I would be happy all day, every day. But the reason that I feel happy is because of all of my thoughts. It has nothing to do with the number on the scale. Now, seeing a number on the scale may make it easier or more difficult to think a certain way that maybe produces the feeling of happiness. But what happens so often, and this happened to me, is I lost weight. I got to be very thin, and I still wasn't happy. I was like, what? Hang on here. What I've believed for my whole life is not true. Like, I believe so strongly, so like intensely, that I willpowered my way down to be very thin. And I couldn't believe I wasn't happy. I still just felt like I could never get to be happy. And that's because the number on the scale doesn't produce the happiness. What produces it is the way you're thinking about yourself and your body. And so I want you to start thinking that way today. If you imagine getting on the scale and seeing your goal weight and thinking, I never need to worry about losing weight again, not only because I've reached my goal weight, but I just think completely differently about food, what would you think? I thought things about myself of like, I did this. Like, I finally did this. I felt so proud and so accomplished of myself. And I would imagine what that would be like before I ever even got there. And so what I want you to think about is, why would you feel happy? Like, what would create that feeling of happiness? What thought, if you imagine a certain number on the scale and then the thought you have about it, what thought would produce the emotion, the feeling of happiness? How can you start stepping into that today so that when you do get there, you're not like me looking around like, wait, what is happening? I thought I was going to be happy because the number on the scale. I didn't realize that I had to do all of the thought work in order to get there all along the way. And so the second piece that I want to offer to you about that is, when we say, well, you're not necessarily going to be happier when you get to that goal weight. In that, there's a little part of me that also disagrees with that to some extent, and not because the number on the scale produces the feeling of happiness, but you just have different things that you're thinking about. And so I still have anxiety. I just don't have anxiety about my weight anymore. I have anxiety about other things, but I still have anxiety. I still have stress. I still get frustrated at times. I still feel overwhelmed at times. All of those things, but it's not to do with my weight. And so that now has transposed to other areas. So when I think about getting down to your goal weight, the freedom that comes with that is really liberating when you're no longer struggling with it. When you're able to get on the scale every day, it's the same number. When you're able to go into your closet and put on any clothes and it doesn't matter because they all fit. When you're able to go into a fitting room and try on all of the things and look at yourself in the mirror and love the way you look. Like, that really is different. It is for me, it's a very grounded, just calm, peaceful place for me that may make it easier for me to be more content and to be happier in my body, but it did not come from the number on the scale. So I think when you do get to the place that you're no longer struggling with this, yes, you may be happier in that area because you have different thoughts that I want you to start practicing all along the way. It's not because of the number. But then that kind of discontentment, the other negative emotions that come up, like those come up just in other places. There's just other areas of your life that you will experience them. And so what I want to help you prevent from happening is from losing the weight, getting there, and then looking around like, what the F? I thought I was going to be happy all the time. And how can you start practicing being happy in your body today in a way that serves you to continue to help you get to your goal, but so that also when you do get to your goal, it just feels like, of course, it feels like this is the body I meant to be in. When I got to be very thin, so I was about 131 pounds, I'm 5'11", so that was pretty thin. When I got to be there through willpower, I still was like, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. Like I need to do more. I need to do all these things. Like it was this really kind of like frantic energy because I hadn't changed my mind and I was really just willpowering my way there. But then when I got to my goal weight, so now I'm a little under 140, like when I got to, we'll say 140 pounds, I'm like, of course. I wasn't like excited when I got on the scale. We often think we'll be really excited and really happy. But I was just like, of course, this is where I am. This is just like my goal weight. I always knew I was going to get here because I practiced it all along the way. And because of that, now I never fear it coming back on. I've lost weight after both of my kids. I plan on having more kids. I never stress about not being able to be at my goal weight and to have it be effortless. But because of how I think about it and how I think about it differently. So I want you all to give that a try. What are some thoughts that you would think about yourself when you imagine getting on the scale and feeling really happy? What are those thoughts? Write them down. How can you start practicing them today? How can you start stepping into becoming that version of you that is happy about your weight, even at the weight you are today? And maybe it's not all the way to happy, maybe you're just neutral about it. And so if you haven't watched my video on the scale, it's day 5 of the 6-day training, I suggest you go back to that video and really watch that video and really try some of those exercises to reframe how your brain thinks about yourself and your body, and especially when you get on the scale. I hope you all found that helpful. And if you are interested in working with me, I work with women one-on-one to really help you retrain your brain so you can become naturally thin once and for all, and you can finally put this struggle behind you for good. So if you're interested in working with me, head on over to my website. It's lauradixoncoaching.com. That's LAURADIXON coaching.com. Click on the Work With Me tab and you can schedule a consultation with me. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll talk with you all soon.